since I spoke to you, I don't know, maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, time flies, there was a couple of people from the Cash is King group trying to, I don't know the word, slam or make this a negative thing because cash is king. Why are you getting gold? Do you have anything to say to them? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm on the exact same page about keep cash in circulation. So go to the businesses that accept cash. If they don't accept cash, walk away. Support cash, keep it going. But in terms of cash and as investment, this is one of the only things I remember from my degree. Went to uni for 6 years, and I remember one thing, so that's pretty good. And that is that cash is the riskiest investment of all. The reason being, it's a very simple concept. If you have, say, $5,000 in cash, that's great. You've got $5,000 in cash. What does that $5,000 buy you today? What is it going to buy you in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time? Probably only 3/4 of what it would buy you now, because the rate of inflation is, even in normal inflation, cash goes backwards. But we're now in inflation of Australia, I believe. I shouldn't maybe say this or get dropped off, but when your nose grows when you say certain things, lying. Australian government are lying. The inflation rate is not 4.5%. We've seen it in our petrol prices. We've seen it in our food and groceries. No one can measure it because they're lying about it. But I would be saying 20%. What I've seen in building materials, some of the building materials, glass, roofs, metal, 100% increase in price.
Mm.
So if you have that $5,000 in cash, what it can buy you today is, when you go to spend it 6 months later, you might only be able to buy 3/4 of what you could buy today, or half. So cash is going backwards. Gold, on the other hand, is going upwards. Gold is the ultimate inflation hedge. A good example of this, and at the Ainsley Bullion seminars, an ounce of gold back in the day of the ancient Romans, an ounce of gold would buy you a really nice suit, the big toga suits they used to wear. An ounce of gold today will buy you a really nice Hugo Boss $3,500 suit. So the ounce of gold hasn't changed in value, but it's kept up with inflation. The same with, they did analysis on the house prices in the US. And back in the 1970s, you could buy a house with about 300 ounces of gold. Even though the house prices in the US are now in the millions, it's still 300 ounces of gold. So gold holds its value, whereas cash goes backwards. That's my answer to that, and it's just pure economics. Anyone with an ounce degree of intelligence or education or experience in economics and finance will tell you the same thing. Cash goes backwards.
Yeah, and I think we all kind of know that. We all whinge about the past. I can say my mum maybe got her first home at $30,000. Now you can't get a house, especially in Canberra, for under $1 million. Yeah,
I've actually. Sorry.
I just noticed it really bad the last 3 years, even when I lost my job. I lived off grid or out of the system. I wasn't shopping. Now to step back into the world and go to the shops and see that everything in the store is maybe 3 times as much as it was the last time I went to the store.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say about the house prices. I've tracked the childhood house that I grew up here in Downer, ACT. My parents bought it, I think it was for $12,000 back in the late 1960s, and it recently sold for $1.6 million. Yeah. So that's inflation. And so cash goes backwards. Yeah, and the shopping, it's just incredible. And I feel really, really sorry for the families out there that are really doing it tough. Even I just go to the shops and all I'm buying is the meal for that night for my kids. I've still got 2 living at home, and bread and milk for the week and a few other things. And it's $170. What? It's getting out of hand, and unfortunately, there's no end to this. It's not going to stop anytime soon.
All right. So, do you have long left? How long do you got?
Me to what? To leave Canberra or
on this live?
On the trip I'm doing?
No, on this live right now. How long do you have to talk?
Oh, how long can I give you? Another 10 minutes.
Another 10?
Yep.
Did you want to talk about Freedom Financial Solutions?
Yeah, so what I've been
bring
traveling
that
with,
back into it.
yeah, who I've been traveling with obviously is a company called Freedom Financial Solutions, which I founded, and Mary Jane, who a lot of you may know, has been helping me run it. She's probably does the most of the work. I just travel around. Where it all started back in the day, Mike would remember the Canberra rallies. I stood up on stage and I was actually mainly just talking about my kids and what was coming down the line in the vaccinations and the fact that they were getting forced to do it because one of them plays professional football. He was playing for Canberra Raiders. Very, very hard for me. I like Mike and on the same page, and I kept my kids safe from that issue for their whole childhood. Never had one. And then when the big C came along, I just saw the writing on the wall because they're now young adults and I had no control over them anymore, and they wanted to go to Queensland, they wanted to go to the nightclubs, they wanted to go to the gyms. So they were forced to go, they chose to take it, and that's what I stood on Canberra in the rallies to talk about. But just as an aside, I just said, oh, by the way, get your money out of the share market and into gold and silver. Get your super out of the share market. And the next thing, I had people all across Australia asking me, how do you do that? And I've been doing self-managed super fund for 25 years, been an accountant and auditor for self-managed super funds. So I explained to people, set up a self-managed super fund, get your super out of the market, put it in a self-managed fund, buy gold and silver. And I just had so many people wanting help that I started taking on clients. I was getting ready to retire after the big C. I just went, I just want out. I don't just want to go to a farm and get out of everything and just look after myself. But so many people were asking for help that we set up Freedom Financial Solutions. It's Freedom Financial Solutions FFS. The FFS, I've got a good uncle Fred, so it's for Fred's sake. Nothing that you might have thought. Not FFS in any other way. Not Freedom FFS. Freedom for Fred's sake. So we set up that company. Mary Jane joined me, and now we are helping thousands and thousands and thousands of people get their super out and into gold and silver. And as I said, with a 48% increase, most of our clients are pretty happy.
One more question, because another one that comes up, and I personally hate it, because we've all tried it or gone down that rabbit hole. But anyway, this is coming up again now since I've been posting you. The scarecrow system, the removing yourself from the Vatican, the common law, the Constitution Avenue. People are trying to push people that direction and going to court under their name or whatever the blah 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 terminology is behind it.
Yes.
What are your thoughts, or why would people go your avenue as an accountant, or rather than removing themselves from the system in this other way?
Look, you can actually go both ways. There's nothing to say that you can't go down the strawman and the common law route and still get your super out and into an SMSF. You can have best of both worlds. But my issue with some people have said to me that the super, if you do the self